Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed a fine lunch offered to you, of course, by the Nara government. We're really happy to have you back right here because we're going to start with the second part of this first day of our Congress today. So welcome back in Bruges. To our spectators at home, of course, welcome back for this second part. Once again, by the way, if you want to join the session in a different language, you can always change the language by just clicking the button in the bottom right of your screen. Coming up this afternoon, we will challenge the Sustainable Development Goals by launching the Gastronomy Tourism Pitch. But first, I would like to invite for us once again on stage, none other than the Secretary General of UNWTO. Please welcome back Mr. Zurab Polokashvili. Here you go. Really eager to know about your second insights. The stage is yours.
I want to thank you, Nara Prefecture, Japanese government, our Japanese friend, to hosting such wonderful lunch. Arigatou gozaimasu. I'm sure that in Nara we will have more time to have more experience about Japanese food and culture. Talking about African gastronomy, which is most important topic of this session, before I start my remarks, I want to promise 2 tickets, if you like football, for Real Madrid or Atletico de Madrid, and dinner with you in Madrid, any place you like, if someone from this hall will tell me 5 dishes, 5 African dishes. Please raise your hand. He or she has not to be African. Kojo, you can't participate there. Sandra, you neither. I need 1, 2 or 10 person who will tell me 5 dishes from 5 different countries from Africa. You have 10 seconds. Please don't be shy and tell me that I know, and please on the stage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You are welcome, please come. No, don't use Google and don't use internet, please. Okay. So you see, it's a shame that we don't know nothing about African food. Nothing. Even it was motivated by me. Unfortunately, this is reality. And we're talking about one of the biggest continents in the world, one of the biggest cultures in the world, and unfortunately we don't know nothing about gastronomy, why we are here, by the way. We came for gastronomy forum. We knew that it will be about African gastronomy, and I want to welcome our African friends, chefs, who came here to promote, and this is the beginning of big journey about African gastronomy from UNWTO. So, and we really want to build and brand Africa like a green continent, like a wonderful continent. Africa is green, Africa is colorful, Africa is full of life and full of experiences we want all to share. So jobs, it's another problem we all have, and we want to promote and to support gastronomy again. Why? Because in tourism and gastronomy is the best way to create, fastest way to create new jobs which continent needs. Early this year, we launched the recipe book, a tour of African gastronomy. I think I'm a winner of competition I created now, 2 minutes ago, and I'm very proud, and I want to thank Sandra Carvalho, Elsia, the director for Africa, who is not with us, and all African ministries who participated. This is the first book we issued regarding African gastronomy, and you can have here around, I don't remember, 38 or 40 different receipts. It's a very general book, but the first step, we are going in detail to create country by country books about gastronomy. But thought the gastronomy may be the First, the benefits of tourism are the same wherever they are left. Gastronomy tourism can be a powerful tool for social economic development and inclusion, especially through of rural communities for women and youth. This is another topic where we will be very focused, and we will work very close with member states to approach youth and women and to increase rural women in tourism sector. Next year we are going to have first youth summit. We want kids to be with us to tell them that working in tourism is prestigious. Again, people who are working in gastronomy, they're artists. And we all remember, and we will all remind all our experiences regarding gastronomy when we are traveling. And of course, gastronomy can be a powerful tool for socio-economic development and inclusion, especially through the rural communities for women and youth, as we mentioned. And this power was further highlighted with the month of African gastronomic health by UNWTO in last May. Here we brought together 25 chefs and marketing professionals to explore the best way for promoting African gastronomy in the world. And we will build on our progress here in Bruges as we sign a memorandum of understanding with chefs in Africa. Together we will promote knowledge and skills, foster innovation and sustainability, and advance in rural development. We are ready, and we will export innovation, digitalization, investments, education in African continent. This is our commitment, and next year we will be focused on it. And to close, I wish to thank the chefs who join us today. Thank you to Chef Binta in her work at Fulani kitchen. She combines her Fulani roots, her classical training and love for rural life and farming. Thank you, dear Chef Malonga, founder of Chefs in Africa, and who is helping to write a new story for gastronomy. This is a new story of gastronomy, really, because all of us, Europeans, Asians, we are ready to support, to modernize African gastronomy. Jose Mari, he is fully committed to supporting trainings to modernize African gastronomy, to make more trendy and more known. And I look forward to working with you all to grow gastronomy tourism as realize its potential and as a pillar of opportunity. Again, I'm very patient. It's our new project, new baby, to support and to make African gastronomy known. I remember when I was a child, I didn't know nothing about. I'm from Georgia, from very close country at that time. It's a country from USSR, and I did not know nothing about Japanese gastronomy. When I tried first time sushi, for me it was something like to eat something very weird, but today I'm one of the bigger fan. Like you were, I'm sure that in your countries it was the same, more or less, in several countries before, in some of them after. But this is how gastronomy is becoming trendy and known, and gastronomy is the best ambassador of any country. So I'm sure that you agree with me, and I really think that African gastronomy will be the future of our experiences, future of our knowledge about food, different kind of food, and we are here and we are committed to support them, to promote and to make it happen. Thank you very much, and have a nice working session today.
Yes, why not? Right, ladies and gentlemen, the table is set. I think we're ready to dig in, and that's why I would like to introduce our next keynote speaker. He is founder of Chefs in Africa and finalist of the Basque Culinary World Prize. On the other hand, he calls himself a young gourmet chef, and his specialty is Afro-fusion cuisine. All the way from Rwanda, please welcome Mr. Dieuveil Malonga.
We see a world of change and motion. We believe food has a power to have a positive impact on people's life. We commit to promote African gastronomy. Bonjour, my name is Dieuveil Malonga. I'm from Congo, but I live in Rwanda. I'm a chef. My food identity is Afro-fusion cuisine. Afro-fusion cuisine is a bridge between African traditional cuisine and modern cuisine. 5 years ago, we created Chefs in Africa. The ambition is to connect chefs in African countries and also in a diaspora. Since 5 years, we are working with farmers in rural area to connect farmers with restaurants and also with chefs. And also we talk about the problem, a challenge they have. We talk about the new technology of farming, and also we share new seed from different countries. We are doing scientific work to connect and collect data from ingredients, and also to share it with chefs, restaurants, and also the chefs from different countries. Market and rural area are our source of getting information. Since 5 years, we are working in different countries in Africa. I'm talking about 54 countries. We have now visited more than 41 countries. The ambition is like to go to learn by grandmother, because grandmother is the best recipe. And not only recipe, but story beyond. Because when we talk about food, we talk about sharing and education. Last year, we opened our first restaurant in Rwanda, in Kigali, and also our first culinary center. We are training more than 15 chefs from different countries in Africa. Diverse and rich culinary heritage in Africa. We have also some challenge sometimes. The first one is like, there's cliché on African cuisine and restaurant, training of talent on African gastronomy, accessibility of information on African food experience. In Chef in Africa platform, we are now more than 4,000 members. 75% are chefs, and so 25% are farmers and also people who work in gastronomy and hospitality. We are working on some solutions. Bring together chefs from African continent and the diaspora, local craftsmanship to write a new narrative. Educate and put the talent from the continent at the forefront of global culinary revolutions. and also representing Africa's gastronomic destination through authentic storytelling. Our training system in Rwanda, we are focusing more on Pan-African cuisine. The ambition is like to teach and promote the big chef of tomorrow. Our future project is Vision 2023. Musanze, a culinary destination. So we have an amazing land. It's more than 4 hectares in Musanze. Musanze located in northern province from Rwanda. Next year, in June, we will start the construction. We will build our first culinary innovation village. In Culinary Innovation Village, we will have a culinary center, like we want to construct our dream culinary center to train more than 100 young chefs of tomorrow. We also will have a gastronomic restaurant to invite the world to taste Africa gastronomy. I love this region, Musanze, because we have amazing ecosystem. We have a lake, and also the soil is very fertile because it's like volcanic area. And in the village, we build our village innovation center. We have more than 300 people that live there, and now we are working with 100 people that live in the village. Because our farm is exactly in Musanze, the farm we source our ingredients from the restaurant we have in Kigali. So, we invite you to visit Africa, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Malonga, for your insights. And as you can see, Mr. Malonga is staying with us on the stage. Excellent job, by the way. Very well done. It was really interesting. And of course, you will join us now to have another debate. So, to host this one, I would like to invite the founder of Fulani Kitchen Foundation, executive chef of Dine on a Mat, which is Mrs. Fatamata Binta, and to lead the debate, the general manager of the Basque Culinary Center, Mr. Joxe. Please come with us. Round. Debate away.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so excited for this dialogue. Thank you, Dieuveil, for this presentation. As we talk in the morning, gastronomy is more diverse than ever, no? And it means also geographically, no? Probably in the past, no? France, Spain, or even now the Nordic countries,
exactly,
and Latin America. So the interest and the hot places in gastronomy have been shifting, no? During the years, and now we have the moment to share what's going on in Africa, no? And I think it's so much to learn, so much to understand, so much to share. So I think like an introduction of this panel, as we have listened Malonga's projects and vision of the future, Chef Binta, also you have been working, and we will go in depth in your work in the next minutes, but it will be great if you can, like a beginning, you can share with us the work you have been doing in these last years, and then we walk in the conversation.
Awesome, thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really happy and honored to be here. My name is Binta. I'm from Sierra Leone, but I'm based in Accra, Ghana. and I'm a chef. I come from the largest nomadic tribe in Africa. They are called the Fulanis. They are nomadic people. They move from one place to another. You find them within West and Central Africa. And their lifestyle has a huge influence in their cuisine and everything else they do. So 4 years ago, I quit my hotel job and I started traveling across Africa. I visit all these communities, cook with the locals, document recipes, and then I go back to Accra, Ghana, and I host nomadic dinners inspired by all these places within Africa. So our main goal really is to promote food and preserve culture by telling stories and also documenting a lot. And one lesson I learned is during all my traveling, I was always on the go, come back to Accra, host dinners, and that's it. And then COVID happened, and that was really challenging for me because I had to stop, I had to pause and just reflect. And during that time I was traveling, I was working with an NGO because also, even though we are the largest nomadic tribe, we have so many other issues we deal with because we are cattlemen. We rear cattle for living, and we are fighting in Africa with the farmers because most times the cattle will invade the farms, and that has caused a lot of issues. So I was also serving as a peace ambassador. I'll go to these communities, we host peace dinners. I act as a mediator because I'm fluent in the language, talk to the people, and we resolve so many issues. So one time I visited one of these communities and we were hosting these peace dinners, and one of the ladies whispered to me. She was like, "We want to grow fonio, but we are not allowed to own lands." And that stuck with me. I remember leaving that village and I was thinking about that a lot, but I never really took time to go back. So after the COVID hit and then we were off the lockdown, I decided to drive down to the rural area just to spend a day with these people. And I learned so much, invaluable lessons. That culture, rural areas, there's so much to be developed there. When you connect with people, what you can learn is actually priceless. So once that happened, and then I was approached by IE Business School Center, the African Center, that they wanted to do a case study on Fulani kitchen for post-COVID. So while I was having those Zoom sessions with the students, they inspired me so much because that was before the foundation. Every session, they would come up with solutions, and I was like, I think it's time I actually start a foundation because if I've been serving as a peace ambassador, I've been working in agriculture, growing fonio with women. I've been cooking and sharing a lot about ancient grains on my mat, which is a nomadic kitchen. Why not have an actual foundation? So Fulani Kitchen Foundation was born through that, and right now we are very new. We've decided to build a Fulani village because it's not just about telling the stories. I want to preserve the culture. So we got an acre in a place called Shai Hills in Ghana, where we are going to build the village, the actual village itself, where you can come in and learn everything you need to know about the Fulani people, but also inspire these people, because I believe if we are talking about rural development, African gastronomy, we really need to place value on what that means, and then we can scale it. So I'm looking forward to all the questions and how we can come up with a solution today. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Let me ask a couple of questions, because I understand you are entrepreneurs in a way, like pioneers in some activities, no? And Dieuveil, Malonga, as probably you've been asked this question sometimes, no? Because you were educated in part of your life in Germany, so you know Germany, you've been working in France, and you have been connected with many things in gastronomy. Why you went back, and you came back to Rwanda to start, to dedicate your professional life or your life to develop new perspective of African gastronomy? And then we will go with other questions more.
I think the click was the food. I was living a long time in Europe, and something's missing. When I'm cooking in different restaurant, when I taste food, it's amazing, but something. Story starts with my grandmother. Because I've learned, I get the motivation to be a chef come from my grandmother. And also, since we start to travel around Africa, I remember we traveled together with Chef Binta, visit Kenya and Ghana. I start to taste many recipes, many ingredients, and also that motivated me to come back in the continent because we have huge and amazing food heritage and so ingredients. I think this is a motivation.
Thank you so much. Similar question, because I understood that, well, you have a background, your mother was connected with cooking, you studied international relations, and then you went into a culinary academy in Kenya.
Yeah.
So what was how your passion about gastronomy started?
For me, it's the fondest memories I have of my childhood, and I know I can never go back to, because I come from a huge family, and I remember experiencing civil war in Sierra Leone for 2 years, and I was forced to leave Sierra Leone and go to my ancestral home, meaning where my family is from in Guinea-Conakry, and having like over 500 cousins living in this very small village, and food was our entertainment as a child, and then I was around 11, 12, and I watched my grandmother grow fonio. We fetch water from the stream by carrying it on our head, firewood, everything was done from scratch. And for me, that really shapes me as a chef, and I try every day to live those memories, because I know it's not possible again. Everybody has traveled outside, they are in UK, London. Nobody's going back to my village, and the village is falling apart. So my drive really is to relive those moments and to try also to preserve my culture, because I get so much inspiration from my culture. That's my drive.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So let's go. It is a challenge. I mean, I feel a little bit uncomfortable talking about African gastronomy, because we are talking about a continent. So it's huge and diverse realities. But I think both of you, because of your work with chefs in Africa and connecting so many young talent to professional possibilities, and you, Chef Binta, with the Fulani's work that at the end is 60 million people. Yeah. I mean, Western, Central Africa. So we will try to give to the audience a perspective of what's going on and the challenges. Yeah. If I ask you, like, to give you like a first general answer to a question, what's going on in African gastronomy? What is happening? What are the drivers of transformation happening nowadays in Africa? What would you answer to that question?
So, myself, I took time to understand about African cuisine, but I'm talking about plural, 54 countries. That's why I start to travel, to go to test. And we have many talented chefs, firstly, in the continent. We have many recipes. I can take an example from, in Ghana, all time. And we have a different of recipes and ingredients sometimes we can find nowhere.
Yeah.
So, we have many chefs now that are coming back from the diaspora, and also that are going to learn, and different countries that are coming now to transform the ingredients with, and also to write a recipe that you can share with the world. I think that is happening now, like work in progress.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll add to what Malonga just said. I believe there's a revolution going on right now. It's African cuisine, and it's the next big thing to tap into. Already, I have chef friends in the industry who are non-Africans who are very curious about our ingredients. And I'm always happy to share. So I believe we have so much that hasn't been tapped into. People still haven't discovered African food and cuisine in general. And for us as chefs, I feel like we're responsible for that. We're at the forefront in telling all these stories, sharing all these stories, but most importantly, documenting these stories, because it's not just about us, it's about the generation that's going to come after us. So there's a revolution going on.
And what I want to add is we understand that for our generation, it's very important to go to learn by grandmother.
Yeah.
Because in 20 years, 30 years, our grandmother will not be there. And at the one, we have all this all recipe and story behind, because it's not only food, but it's many things, like a culture and also ecosystem. That's very important for our generation now. Because when we talk about food, is sharing and education.
Yeah.
Because I would like to think about the two perspectives, no? One is, I imagine that, as you were saying, first to document to this traditional knowledge how we make that explicit to share with future generations. And second, and probably we can talk about this, I think, I don't know what you think, because when we talk about African gastronomy, the countries don't help us to communicate what's going on, because at the end, if you think about how the borders of countries were made, well, we go a little bit into politics, but countries doesn't help very much to identify which are the regions of African gastronomy, which would be like the different cultures and regions in Africa talking about gastronomy.
So it's actually an important thing you just said, and one thing I believe for us as chefs in Africa, and it's really important to highlight that, because most times when you say Africa, people just think it's one country. We have 54 countries, and we have different tribes. Only Nigeria alone, we have over 100 tribes. And all that 100 tribes, they have different cuisine, they have different traditions. So it's really important to highlight that. And one way I would say is to also educate the locals, place value, teach them how to place value on what they have already, and then we can scale it. Because one thing COVID did for me was it allowed me to really explore Ghana. I lived in Ghana for 10 years. I never got time. I never made the time, because I believe you need to make time. I never did because I was so busy. But during that time, I started visiting different places. And I was blown. I didn't know we had all these gems in Ghana. So as locals, we ourselves, we need to value what we have first before we can sell it to anyone else. And that's how you develop a community. That's how you develop a community. You have to place value, appreciate it, and then you can allow other people also explore it.
Malonga, you talked in your presentation about the grandmother school. Can you talk to us? Because I think it's connected with this that Chef Binta said.
So, for me, I like to eat traditional food, even all the time. When I'm here in Europe, sometimes I bring my food with me. The place, for me, I understand, the place you can get the original recipe is to go to learn by grandmother.
Yeah.
Because most of grandmother, they use local product. And also, I learn story behind, because in many tribes in Africa, they have a ceremony, and my grandmother told me in our village we don't eat, but we celebrate food. In my family and my village, we celebrate food. It's all of these skills I learned from the grandmother. I think grandmother school is the best now for us, for our generation, because we need all the skills.
Yeah. And how do you imagine developing this school? I mean, recording or grandmothers or connecting them with young students? Or how do you imagine?
Yes. What we do, we start already, we travel in different countries with our student. We was in Cameroon, we was in Kenya with Chef Binta, and also in Ghana, and we spend time to learn traditional cuisine. And after, when we come in our laboratory in Rwanda, we try to not to mix, like to find a way how we can share this grandmother cuisine with the world, because we need, like with grandmother, we cook with, I can say with wood, but in a restaurant cannot use wood. And that's how to transmit all of this recipe from grandmother and to share with our customer in the restaurant and also with the world. That's the work we're doing now in Rwanda with the Culinary Center.
I imagine that you are a visionary. You are thinking about how you can, expand
exactly.
this idea, to gather in this knowledge of grandmothers.
Yes, that's the ambition of 2023.
And one thing also, I believe, as Africans, or when you talk about development of rural areas or promoting tourism, we should start thinking along the line like food safaris, collaborating with travel companies, because that's how, you share it. Apart from scaling and really placing value, but we need to start collaborating more. Share it with the world as much as possible.
So let's go for that. How you see the future connecting tourism and this development of gastronomy that we are talking about? How do you imagine, what is the interaction? How is the dialogue? How do you see that?
It's building up slowly but surely. And I feel like for that to happen, the most important things like agriculture, we need to focus on, because as chefs, we really need to bring farmers along our journey. But also skills is very important for these rural areas. Most times they don't even know what they have, they are just sitting on it. But having people like, Chef Malonga, different people, go there, spend time with them, motivate them, and tell these stories and encourage people. That's one way also. That's why, and also another thing, initiatives like platforms that have created spaces for this. I think they need support to do that, because it's not easy, to start that groundwork. So all initiatives that are existing already, it's important to partner with those people and tell the stories. It's all about empowerment for it to grow.
I think in our restaurant, we have people that are coming from Copenhagen. Last week, we have a group, I think it was 5, they come from Peru. It's like the revolution is starting now.
Yeah.
People are starting to go to learn new things and also to taste new spices and also recipes.
And coming back, the work you are doing, Fatmata, the Fulani, 60 million of nomad people, and that they are moving through different. How is that, and how is their gastronomic culture? I mean, because I know it's a lot about fermented food and so on.
Yeah.
And how is so let's talk us about that.
So it's a very interesting culture, and everything is centered around our lifestyle, because we are always on the go. Even our ingredients are sun-dried because we are preparing for the next migration. We don't stay in one place, and that's because our lifestyle is focused on our cattle as a business. When you meet a Fulani person, you value their wealth by how many cows they have. So we are very big on that. And it changes. As much as we are a lot of people and we travel, so for example, if they come to Ghana, the language would change a bit, and the food also, it kind of like it's a fusion as we go. And I've really tried to document that a lot, because you say Fulani is very broad, but we are one people, but we are different also. And our lifestyle is very sustainable. I really believe that the world can learn so much from the Fulani tribe. If we are thinking sustainability right now, we are talking a lot about sustainability. These are minimalist people. They don't take too much. They live very minimal. And a lot of that is reflecting on our lifestyle. Even for like cattle, there's a misconception. Most times people think because we rear cattle, we eat meat a lot. We don't. We feed on offals. When we slaughter, we sell to the local, and then we keep the offals, which will sun dry. And the tradition is very beautiful. One thing we also share on my nomadic kitchen, because that's a way for us to preserve the culture. And I noticed that if you, like growing up in a Fulani home, and now observing how the world is moving so fast, everybody's doing grab and go. There is no time for people to really sit, and dine and look the next person in the eye and reflect and get to know who you're living with. So it was very important for me to start highlighting that, because that's a way also to change the mindset of people. In Ghana, when I first came, most times people believe that grabbing a bucket of KFC is a luxurious way of eating. But no, how about local food? Spending time and enjoying a meal with people on the floor, sitting together. Like in the Fulani community, we believe that when you sit on the floor, that's how you build this social structure of the family. And also even your posture, we believe that when you sit up, you're eating with the next person, you're holding the bowl, you're also creating a good posture for yourself. So all these traditions, we really try to embrace them and share them with the world, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. And you, Dieuveil, you are from Congo, Rwanda. What is the food culture that is your food culture?
So my food culture is, I call it Bantu culture. Bantu is, you find it in Angola, in Gabon, in both Congo, Brazzaville, and Democratic. And me, I was born in I'm from Bakongo. It's like I'm close to Congo DRC and to Angola. It's like I have all this Bantu culture, like food culture.
And there are some elements that we say representative of the Bantu culture.
So I was working on that since now 1 year. Like before was no country, countries. Like it was kingdom. Was not country. Country came just after. So we have more. It's like we don't eat a lot of meat. We have more vegetable because we have amazing climate, and we have the Congo River. It's like the second river in the world after Amazon. And all this along of Congo River, we have amazing forests that give us many vegetables and fruits. Like I say, like our cuisine, like Bantu cuisine, is more like vegetables, like and different. Sometimes we fish, but more vegetables. Yeah. And before, like meat was only for ceremony. And my grandfather ate like meat sometimes 2 or 4 times in 1 year. Yeah, that we have more like vegetable culture, food culture.
Okay. And are there like other strong food cultures that you could say that are like a good representation?
Yes.
Which one would be?
I would say West Africa.
West Africa.
Yes. West Africa, the food culture is very raw. I would say raw. It's unrefined. It hasn't been diluted. So yeah, the West African food culture is still strong. Because if you look at South Africa, I know a lot of chefs who are trying to bring back the food before the appetite because it's lost. But in West Africa, we still have it. Even though we are slowly moving away from it, that's why we are trying to preserve it. Because if you look at Africa right now, because East Africa, they have Indian influence and all that. Yeah. Whereas West Africa, only the Francophone countries, that's a little bit influenced by the French. So I would say West Africa.
And what I want to add is like now we have I think 2-star Michelin restaurant.
Exactly.
One based in London and another one based in Paris.
Yeah.
And they have I think West African food influence.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think West Africa cuisine is very strong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And okay, let's think in another perspective as you are thinking like with a vision for the future, no? And how you imagine this idea that promoting African gastronomy or that you have how you connect with actual tourism in resorts, or in how you make the chefs of that resorts introduce the local produce, recipes, traditions, how you are thinking on promoting that?
It's about challenging the food industry, the hospitality industry. In Ghana, we started it. We would create a box and we'll put key ingredients like superfoods, and then we'll send them to hotels, to the executive chefs, and then we challenge them, create something out of this. And these are ingredients that are indigenous to Africa. They've been around for over 7,000 years, but most people haven't explored them, or even when they do, it's only one way, like the old ways of just. For example, I'll give you something called prekese, which is a very interesting ingredient, and for the longest time, they've only used it to make soups, like one soup which is called banga soup. So we started sending these things out, things like fonio, which I'm very big on. It's an ancient grain.
I was going to ask you, because
Yes.
you have worked a lot on Fulani
Yes.
culture, but also on
Women.
fonio.
Yeah, so we grow fonio in the north of Ghana. I work with a company called Alanima, so we try to encourage women to grow fonio. So we most times pack a box, send all these ingredients, and they were like, create something and get back to us. I think that's one way. And also as chefs, adding that into our menu, storytelling, encourage people, because anyone that comes to your table or your mat, it's an opportunity for you to tell a story or change the mindset.
So with the chefs in Africa, the ambition is to educate, to learn more about our story. I'm talking about culinary heritage that we have in Africa, share with another chefs in African continent and also in the diaspora and the world. That's why we are building the big culinary center next year to welcome different chefs from different countries in Africa and also the world. That will be, I think, the key to promote African cuisine and to share.
Perfect. And can you share with us also, because at the end, what we have seen in other countries, that chefs many times have been like the transformation tool, and also they are part of a community, producers, fishermen, artisans, but what's the situation now in Africa? I mean, there is a movement of young chefs exploring, recovering or bringing the traditional gastronomy into a modern perspective. What's going on talking about new chefs or young chefs?
So what are happening now, we are using the new technology firstly to share information, and with farmers, we work more in the rural area, but because in the rural area we have now, I can say, most of the farmers, they don't use chemical product, and the soil is more like virgin, I can say, like this one. And but we are also working with scientific from different countries in the world to go to learn the new technology of farming. And with chefs, is also we are trying to organize conference in different countries, and the last we did was in Ghana, and the first was in Ivory Coast, to share that our challenge and find a solution. That's very important, that we try to find a solution of some problem we have in our in food industry or also in tourism industry.
And is there, are you connected? There is a community there? You are working in a community perspective of chefs?
Yes, we work with many chefs, or what I can call it, ONG, or also chef movement. In Rwanda, in Tanzania, in Uganda, and also in Kenya, we work with cooperative. In East Africa, they have a system of cooperative. Then we have a data for 200 cooperative we work with. And in Ghana, we work with Chef Association. In Morocco, we work with Chef Association. Even in Egypt, we work with Chef Association. Like we have one embassy in every country that give us all information. And when we have information, then we share together with another chefs. That's how we share our journey with chefs.
Fantastic. Now we are finishing, and if you would think about an action plan for tomorrow to develop the potential of African gastronomy, what do you think that you would ask or you would need? No? Thinking about how you explode, promote all that potential.
I think we are now we are doing like work in the process. In the process, we are open to welcome the world in different countries.
Chefs from other countries to visit you.
Chefs and also farmers to come to learn to us, and we are so going to other countries to go to learn, because like when we talk about food is sharing and education. That's what I've learned from my grandmother.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's all about collaborations. For me, personally, with my team right now, we are trying to set up our Fulani village so that we can welcome. Because after I went to the Best Chef Awards, I realized so many chefs want to come to Africa.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I can't wait to build my test kitchen finish and invite everybody and do more exchange programs also with students, from universities, so that they can learn the culture. Because that's the only way you will preserve it anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure that our students at the Basque Culinary Center will love to go to Fulani village or your culinary village. So, no, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I think we have talked a lot, but at the end, just a little bit of the huge potential that there is in Africa, in different regions. Well, as Secretary General said, and I gather with that commitment, we are committed to promote, to help, and also because we think that will be great. Such a heritage that we can share with the world, that it will be amazing. So thank you so much for your work.
Thank you so much.
And be strong. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Yes.
Thank you guys for this nice debate, and of course we would like to make this an official, memorable moment. As you can see, the table is installed. I would like to have our Secretary General to come with us as well, and we will now sign, of course, this memorandum of understanding between chefs in Africa and UNWTO to work on the promotion of African gastronomy. Of course, and food is to share. Welcome again. Welcome again. Please sign the treaty right now. Sign the memorandum.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's make this an official moment. Documents are being signed. Photographers are ready. A round of applause, please. Please address yourself to the photographer. This is always a very awkward moment. Smile. You're looking good. Excellent. Is everybody happy? All right.